All as well. Welcome to this 1C walkthrough. Let's get started. So first, my research question, which was how are Hay River school counselors and educators implementing mindfulness-based practices to foster social emotional wellness in students? My sub-questions were, how are Hay River school counselors and educators integrating mindfulness practices through an Indigenous lens? What challenges are they facing in implementing these strategies to support student well-being? And how can mindfulness to support teaching, learning, and healing-centered engagement in Hay River schools? So for this walkthrough, I'll just explore my first theme, which focused on how Hay River school counselors and educators have been integrating mindfulness-based practices through an Indigenous lens by considering historic, relational, experiential, and other factors. My basic themes I've grouped into historic factors, relational factors, experiential factors, and policy documents. The first one was based on the recognizing that the legacy of residential schools has an effect on how educators would want to implement mindfulness. This one has relational factors about relating to family, elders, community. And this one has experiential factors, mostly centered around on-the-land learning, but also skill building opportunities and visiting museums. And then the policy documents, which outline how Indigenous culture is incorporated in all schools in the NWT, where half of the population is Indigenous. I conducted 2 telephone interviews with Hay River school counselors for this, and one interview with a Hay River kindergarten teacher. So let's see how I got here. First I organized my codes. I did pre-coding, highlighting blocks of color according to my research questions. I then used a combination of in vivo coding and descriptive coding. Here my subject is talking about remembering past erasure of Indigenous culture and how that affects how she wants to implement mindfulness, but how she still believes that mindfulness is compatible. And in fact, we don't call it mindfulness. I'm saying she's reclaiming mindfulness as an Indigenous practice. That's how I coded there. I put all the codes together after doing this with the other 2 subjects. Here are all my codes. And then I commenced my second round of coding, which was pattern coding, which you can see here. So I grouped the codes into a smaller number of categories according to several constructs. For my first major theme, I think my constructs were more clear initially, and then actually the other 2 came along quite nicely. So I did this according to color. And from there, I turned to the thematic analysis planner, where I have, basically blocked or grouped blocks of text that support my arguments. For example, here, regarding the Indigenous perspectives on JK-12 education, I think we have the Dene Kinde, the fact we have that curriculum, integrating Indigenous knowledge and awareness of Indigenous communities. And then here I have a little bit of an explanation of how I'm going to integrate this into my final paper. So from here, I grouped, I then went to categories to themes, and I cleaned it up nicely from here. And you can see that all of my themes here are grouped according to participant. In addition, I guess I should show you just a few of my questions. Let me go back really quick. Here, I'll use M because here you can see my questions, which are about mindfulness through an Indigenous lens, in addition to social emotional health of Hay River students in the face of challenges. And I chose to focus in on the recent challenges they've had with fires, floods, and the climate. So I do hope that this walkthrough was helpful, and thank you so much. Bye.